again. Hello, hello. Here we are, more cozier than ever. I'm wearing a sweater, a zip-up sweater that I love, but never wear anywhere remotely in public. But it's really cozy. I think it was like $6 in Costco. So it's a feel-good thing. Here's a lighter. I found this when I was mushroom picking with my dear old mama. So, what are we here for tonight? I really am in the mood for some soft speaking ASMR that I listen to is usually product reviews. Book reviews are really good. Drawing videos. And so yeah, I'm not much of a book reader, but I have some books from my school, and I have some personal favorite books, but I haven't read in a long time, so don't expect some critical analysis like this book. I don't even remember, but I saw it on the shelf, and I thought, hey, I remember this. It's the one with the cool cover. And that's it. So, let's go through it. First off, the mysterious book. I just know what it felt like reading this book when I was younger, but I don't remember what it was about. It does seem kind of obvious, but I don't know if it's a heroic story or a tragic story or a positive story. I don't know if other people get that. Like, there are certain books I've read, I can't find some of them now, but like where I just felt a really unique way that I've never felt before. I can't think of the title of this book, but it's really haunting me right now. It's some like it's a book for like 5th graders that I read in grade 8, and it's about some kind of really playful, spooky topic, and it rounds about to like fighting bullies, and the bullies were ghosts and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just remember I was like I was having a really tough time writing a book report, or even finding a book to write a book report about or something like that. And so I forced myself, I grabbed the book, and I sat in the bathtub and just wrote and wrote. And before I knew it, I had created my first ever masterpiece. So that's what this book feels like. So it's Everest. That's Everest, and that is, of course, about the Great Mountain. And we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 people here who are dressed in very heavy climbing gear. Some of them have helmets, and there's even a pickaxe along with ice picks. This is book 1 by Gordon Corman, the luckiest dude in the world for having the most fantastic name. I don't know if you would call this a summary or description. I think I absolutely stole this from my elementary school. And by stole, I mean I took it and forgot to return it. So that's okay. So the back. these words right before you. It says, the height of danger, period. The height of competition, period. The height of the world, period. Period. And I believe this is the proper description now. Who will be the youngest person ever to climb Mount Everest? It's the ultimate test of endurance and skill. The mountain has claimed the lives of many adults. Now kids are going to compete to break the record. Some are not ready for what they will face, and some will stop at nothing to get to the top. So I think that's why I liked it when I read it as a kid. You always love hearing kids doing adult things, because when you're a kid, all you want to do is prove that you're grown up, and then you see these dudes doing it. I think that's why I loved it. Let's see. Yeah. So this is Artemis Fowl. They recently turned it into a movie. I might be mistaken. It could in fact be a TV series, but I do know that it bombed in the box office. Yeah, people didn't like it. It's got some bad reviews. And I think that's because there are 13 so odd books in this Artemis Fowl series. And people have grown up and grown up beside the main character. And, well, I chose this book because my brother read them, and I wanted to be like my brother. That, and also it looked really cool, but my monkey brain was very, very pleasantly surprised to enjoy the writing style. I think that's the difficulty I used to have as a kid. I couldn't, the writing style wasn't a comfortable pace for me. And whenever a sentence, even a single sentence, would throw me off, I would lose my pace, I'd lose my track, I'd lose the immersion in the story. And how many times can you be let down by seemingly yourself? Because I would just feel bad, because I'm like, oh, if people love the book and I can't read it right, then that means there's something wrong with me, and then that brings you down, 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 and you can't enjoy it. But this was one of those books that was way too many pages for me, but the writing style made it completely okay. And I'm not gonna spoil it. It's clearly it is clearly a fictional story. It's about magic and high-tech science and a mystical world that's just below our feet. And it's really easy to get lost in the story. This is the first one I read in the series, but it's not the first book, which speaks loudly about the writing style where you can just slip in halfway through, a quarter way through, and not be lost and still enjoy everything that's going on. So it's Artemis Fowl. This one is the The Eternity Code. I reread this one last winter. That's not December 2020, but December 2019. And I reread it entirely on a frozen lake close to my house. Just like a 20-minute walk. It was the, I guess not middle of winter, but, it was cold enough here in Canada. And I loved it because I just take my chair, like fold-out chair for camping, right? And a little backpack filled with snacks and a drink. And I really needed it at the time. A little bit of peace and quiet and time to myself. So when I did have some free time, I just pack up my stuff, head down to the lake, and just walk onto the ice and keep walking and walking and walking until I could barely see the shore behind me. And it was so completely quiet. I have nothing against nature sounds. I love them. But I guess when I'm reading, I don't really want mosquitoes eating me alive or birds chirping. So reading this out on the lake, frozen lake if possible, I highly recommend it. I guess you could do it with any book, but I really like this one. So yeah. Let's see. Cool. Yes. So that's a book. That's in fact a book. Next. I don't know how much I'm gonna have to say about this one. This is one I purchased with my own monies. I used it for a video a while ago, and I put some tape on it. I think I was building some kind of stand, or I was linking books together for some odd reason, and I must have used industrial strength tape because it completely demolished the book. Yeah, you can see the what looks like, what's that kind of tape? Duct tape. Yeah, it looks like there's duct tape right here. So, smart move. But yeah, I don't remember why this book intrigued me. I don't read comic books. Never been too interested in that. But you know what? I think one of my friends in grade 6, his name was Philip, he recommended the book, or he was reading the book, and then I had the idea to get it afterwards, so I was inspired. Basically, the whole beginning of my life, my youth, was copying people. I just wanted to be like blank person, and Philip, he was a real jacked dude. I mean, we're talking 6th grade, and this dude was bench pressing and eating mom's spaghetti for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I thought if I do the same, that I'd be like him. I'd have to read like him, and have to work out like him, and things didn't go like I thought they would. But that is okay. So, this book, I've given you some time to look at it. I got all of these from the Scholastic Book Fair. I wonder if all of you know what that is. It was around for a while. Even after I was almost done high school, they were still doing it. But I'm sure they don't do it these days. It wouldn't be very profitable with ebooks being so available and just people not reading as much. But this is a sequel to the best-selling The Day My Butt Went Psycho. It's by Andy Griffiths, and it's called Zombie Butts from Uranus! Exclamation point. Please, YouTube, do not take down this video. I don't need another copyright strike. But yeah, it's about, is it about Captain Underpants? Did I get completely confused? The Big Bang, I'm pretty sure. Yo, I legitimately have no idea if this is the book that I was wondering. Is this Captain Underpants? I don't think it is. Yo, I have no idea what this book is then. I definitely got it for the reasons that I said, but damn, my book was like, I don't think it's Captain Underpants. They're stopping nostril burning sequel. I'm gonna have to Google this one afterwards, but since I don't know much about it, it's just a book I have kept, so it clearly meant something to me. Let's get really boring now. This was what I thought my future would look like. I went to veterinary school for a semester, and I promptly dropped out after the first semester. But this is a radiography textbook in veterinary technology. And I used to be a nerd. Well, I used to not be a nerd. Then I became a nerd, and I think I'm a nerd for completely different reasons now. But I read all my textbooks before school started, and I got so prepared and I was so excited. And then I got there and it was nothing like I expected. And that's not to say that if you want to be a veterinarian, that it's not a good choice. My reasoning is I'm a little baby and I like the science behind it, and I like the idea of helping animals, but I have a very weak stomach and heart for that kind of stuff. So to restrain an animal, to take blood from an animal, it's very difficult to do anything. I'm sure most people can agree to this when you don't have consent. So yeah, I just realized pretty much the first week that it wasn't for me. You know, I got there and my whole class was a bunch of country girls, and they were all just flipping dogs and cats like it was a bay of hail. And me, I had no business being there, no business at all. But I learned a lot about parasitology and about radiography, which I was never ever gonna do. Yeah, I think my favorite was parasitology. Just like this huge world of tiny creatures that we can't really see, but they rule and govern so many things. I guess bacteria are even cooler, but everybody's got a parasite or two. It's nice to know about them. Oh yeah, and I bought this secondhand. I went on Kijiji, which is the Canadian version of eBay. No, not eBay. What's America's version? Craigslist. It's the Canadian version of Craigslist. And I found somebody who completed the program already, and they sold all their books for first year for like $100. but I had to drive 2 hours. Worth it. Worth it. And I just kept the books. I should have probably sold them or donated them as well. But, I don't know. I didn't want to give them away. I didn't want to. That's enough you could say about this. Not much more to say. Let's see. This book right here. It looks very new. It's because I bought it new. But I've had it for a while. I've had it since 2011. I've had it since 2011. So pretty much 10 years. And I've read it only maybe 3 times. I've read the first few chapters like 20 times. I used to take this book onto the bus to pass the time and to read, and I'm not going to try and explain myself, but most of the time I just keep rereading the first few chapters. I really liked being introduced to the cast and characters. It just feels really real in like a futuristic way. I'm not going to tell you the plot or anything. I really don't care for spoilers or even trailers or anything like that. I just look at the cover art and then decide to read or watch something. So this is The Feed by M.T. Anderson. I remember why I chose this book now. My girlfriend at the time, her last name was Anderson, and that's why I chose the book. Wow, I completely forgot about that. Well, nonetheless, it is a story about love and loss and growth, and most importantly, sci-fi. It's about the future, and a future that seems to be coming closer and closer for all of us. It almost seems unavoidable at this point. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. You know, the future is the future, and that's quite it. But, yeah, it's a really good book. The words are quite spaced out, so even though it looks really, really thick, it is a pretty quick read. Let's look at the back for a little bit. I like this, I just like everything about this book. I like the way it was written, the way it was thought out, the way it was designed. The biggest and most popular quote from the book is that exactly because they planned it to be. So it is, we went to the moon to have fun, but the moon turned out to completely suck. I really hate their names in this book. I think they're supposed to sound futuristic, but it's just not something that I personally enjoy. So says Titus, a teenager whose ability to read, write, and even think for himself has been almost completely obliterated by his feed. A transmitter implanted directly into his brain. Feeds are a crucial part of life for Titus and his friends. But when Titus meets Violet, a girl unlike any he's met, a girl who decides to fight the feed. Chills, bro, chills. And it won some awards, and it's one of those books that's just gonna keep aging perfectly. And wow, time kind of flew by there. This is the last book it is a book that I have not completed. It is a book that I got from Amazon not too long ago, maybe 5 years ago, because I loved the BBC TV series Sherlock Holmes. Rewatched it 5 times with my brother, maybe 3 other times with my brother, 2 other times myself, and I just wanted more. And so I got the book. I was hoping for I don't know, a more first-person look into Sherlock Holmes, but this is the complete novels and stories volume 1, so it almost reads like a dictionary or an encyclopedia, which is just not what I was looking for. I wanted the action and the adventure and the character development, but it's just not that. I do plan on reading it at some point, or else it would just be a complete and utter waste of paperback. But it's filled with a lot of good information, and that's all that matters to me. I'll find myself another frozen lake, and I'll take this with me that time. So there you go. A video I never really thought I would make. It turned out exactly like I wanted it to, though. A nice, soft-spoken ramble about the past, about the future, about feelings, about choices. I like it. So, I hope you enjoyed. I wish you a very, very sleepy night. Yeah, good night. Take it easy. Sleep well. Good night. Good night.